So earlier this week, Paul Finebaum had some things to say about the Sooners that kind of surprised you, boy. Didn't think he would be on that side of the fence. So let's talk about that. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. This is a Hog Media production presented by Sleeper. If you're not using them for daily fantasy sports, you're missing out. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They're going to give you $20 just for signing up as a new user and match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Let's talk about this. You know, national media had a lot of things to say about Oklahoma after that unfortunate performance against Texas. And we all know that the one of the voices of the South that we see all the time is Paul Finebaum. And, of course, he chimes in after the game. He shows his love for Arch Manning and thinks that Arch may have already bounced back or whatnot. And then, of course, they asked him, all right, Paul, you were talking about Oklahoma at the beginning of the season. How you feeling? Kind of interesting. This is what he had to say.
OU will still make the playoffs. You Paul in or Paul out?
Now, somebody's going to accuse me of being Pauly positive here this morning, but I am still in on them. The caveat is the road schedule. They play South Carolina. I think they can navigate that, but they're also at Tennessee and at Alabama. Those are not easy places to win. I think it's self-explanatory there. They have to win the home games, mainly against Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU. I think that's doable. Here's the interesting part. If they finish 9-3, they still might squeeze into the playoffs because of the brutal schedule, although Michigan losing yesterday does not help them. They beat Michigan early in the season.
I think the Pauly positive piece had me cracking up the most, that he actually said that out loud, because truth be told, I would have never thought that he would say he still thinks we have a chance. Now, his caveat's very much true and 100%. We talked about this here ad nauseum on the channel, that this road schedule, this SEC gauntlet, even though in some spots it doesn't look like it's as tough as we thought it was going to be, still going to be a challenge. We've got work to do, and this team has to bounce back, and this team has to show us that they can actually play a good offense against a team that is really, really tough in South Carolina. And I think that they can pull this off. We get this win that puts us as bowl eligibility, that shuts up a lot of people initially, but then we can really start focusing on the home game against Ole Miss and then that road game against Tennessee, which will really predict where we end up. If we can finish out in this stat 3-0 going into Alabama, Oklahoma has a really good chance of shocking the college football world. But I don't know how, I mean, I've talked about it this week, but I don't know how I feel about us when it comes to that Tennessee game. I think Ole Miss, we have a chance, but I do think that the Tennessee game is probably where you're going to see a lot more of the challenge for the Sooners. What y'all think? Hop in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. You think Finebaum is all over the place with his assessment? I definitely want to hear y'all's thoughts. Let's look at the South Carolina game because we know that's coming up. But first, of course, shout out to our partners over there at Sleeper. If you're not using it for daily fantasy sports, you are missing out. They're hooking up all the gamers. They're going to give you $20 just for signing up. Plus, they're going to match your first deposit at 100% up to $100. So let's go ahead and take a gander at some of the games that we have in front of us. So tonight, Thursday night, of course, I'm going to take DK Metcalf on that one. I'm going to take a little bit. I don't think I want Higgins, but I'm definitely going to take the less on Jamar Chase because he's got, who's that, Joe Flacco throwing the ball. Don't see that working out very well for him. But Flacco should be, he probably won't put up that many yards, but I think that Watt's going to be a terrorist the entire game. So you pick two or more players, pick more or less. And if you hit up to, 1,000 times your money. So if you know ball, check it out. Use our promo code UNFAIR, and they will hook you up. $20 just for signing up, and 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's term of use for details. We got the South Carolina game coming up this weekend, and I wanted to kind of chat. We got the injury report last night. I dropped a video on that. I don't think very many of y'all are very happy, but whatever. I'm happy that we got Derek Simmons back. That's going to be important. He's one of our better blockers on the as a tackle. He's done well in a lot of the games. He's done well in the P4 games for the most part till he got hurt against Texas. But it looks like he should be good. And so now we just need Michael Fasusi to be ready for Dylan Stewart. That's going to be a very interesting matchup, as we know how bendy and the angles that Dylan Stewart takes in those games. They're going to make Fasusi work. He's going to have to work for this one. So I expect Fasusi to be fine in this one. I guess the biggest question for me going into this game is really going to be if we can take advantage of the fact that South Carolina's interior is not that good on the defensive side, plus their offensive line is not good. Like they've got like 4 starters out for the most part, and then their injury report did not look very well also. And so we've got a good chance of causing and wreaking havoc in this game because of how they have struggled throughout this entire season. So I'm expecting some Torrey Blaylock action. The good thing is coaches have already told us that they have shifted the who's going to be in charge, basically the RB1, that Torrey's going to get that. And as long as he's, to me, RB1, I think we have a very good shot at figuring out a lot of the run. He's starting to see the holes better in some cases, like that run, that big 11-yard run he had against Texas. That made me happy because even though he bumped into his teammate, he realized, oh, no, there's a hole there, I'm open, and he rushed right through it. We're going to need a lot of that. Like, I know some of y'all are talking about, BB and DeMarco Murray need to go, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But if you watch the tape, there's a lot of holes that can be hit. And it's just about experience. And we're seeing it out of Torrey. He's getting the experience needed in order to be better. So, but the Norris Ellis is going to be very fascinating because of the struggles that he's had all season. And I think it's mainly because of the line. We should have him bottled up. We can't let him do what Arch Manning did in Red River. We can't let him scramble around and then run to the outside and be able to make some plays with his legs. I'm hoping that we have a spy in a couple of zone areas while also watching for the underneaths, making sure that, because I think our corners can handle guys one-on-one. We just need to make sure we have somebody over the top just in case the angle isn't proper. But you're going to see a lot of Cortland. You're going to see a lot of Eli. And a lot of mix of Gentry in there too, and probably some Devon Jordan as well. I'm hoping that we figure that out and make that happen. Let me know what y'all think. Hop in those comments. I want to hear your thoughts. Y'all prepared? Y'all ready for this game? I am. But I did think it was interesting that Paul Finebaum decided to say that he thinks Oklahoma can still have a chance. I mean, based upon the stats and analytics, we do. We just got to play well. So, all right, we'll talk about the injury report this evening. Another one will drop. Saw Keontae Lewis was doubtful on there. I bet you he's dealing with some stuff with he took some hits against Texas. So they're probably like being very precautionary and saying, hey, man, you about to sit. Because he did take a few hits in that one. But having Simmons on that list is not on that list is good. I'm hoping Logan Howland is downgraded to probable and he's getting better because he's one of the better backup tackles right now. We definitely want to see him play. All right. We'll see all of y'all. We'll talk. Like I said, probably later today or tomorrow when the next report drops. Shout out to our partners at Sleeper. Use our promo code UNFAIR. They will hook you up with a deposit bonus, and they're going to give you $20 just for checking them out. We'll talk soon. Peace.